Hey there, and welcome to this Facebook Live with Kate Granger from Brave Tiger, where she's going to share with us a whole bunch of her online marketing tips and tricks and potentially some of the little stuff ups that she's done. Now, you are coming to us live from Roma Street Parklands because, hey, you only work 12 to 15 hours a week in your business.
Yeah, that's all I got. I've got the two kids home with me, so the 2 days they're not in care, we make the most of it. Jill starts kindy next year, so I've only got one term left to enjoy the time with them. So that's what I'm doing.
And that's what you're doing, but yet you still make time for business. And you have achieved quite a lot. So tell us a little bit about how Brave Tiger came to be, because it's quite an interesting story.
Sure. So not to bring it down a little bit, but so in 2012, my daughter was diagnosed with a rare form of childhood cancer, and I was 32 weeks pregnant with our second. So went through treatment. Luckily, things are all wonderful now. When we were nearing the end of treatment, I was looking at going back to work. Andrew was just about 9 months. So I was thinking, I'll go back a year. And I just couldn't face going back to the corporate world, software, sort of these big corporations, and not making a difference in the world. Everything you see when you're a mom of, I think any special needs kid, but especially cancer, because there's just no reason,
Yeah.
I couldn't face it. So I ended up buying a business, New Age Nappies and Upsy Baby. It ended up being a two-for deal. And so I struggled along with that for about 18 months. Did okay, really, I'm not a business person. I'm a software engineer. So, there were some mistakes being made. And then, and then I met Selena and went from there. And then we decided that I need to stop driving myself crazy and condense down to one. And all through treatment, Jillian, we were like, show us your brave tiger. And so it was sort of a natural step like that. Of course, that's what we're going to name our company. And so, we've got Brave Tiger Trust, and 10% of all our profits go straight to childhood cancer research. So it's our way of giving back to the world and making a living for myself, that way I can stay home with the kids. It just gives me that flexible work day, flexible work week, and making the most of the time, because, you really learn how precious it is.
Yeah. So you actually bought two businesses. So how did that work in terms of time? Because you only have a couple of days a week to work on your businesses, and you had two of them. So I'm assuming that you had two Facebook pages, two email newsletters, two social media pages, all that kind of stuff, two lots of orders to pack. How did you manage?
Yeah, it was completely manic. So I think one of the smart things I did is I implemented, it used to be all be done, the inventory was all done manually. So like if you sell something off the one site, you have to go manually take it off the other site. And so I implemented a inventory system that takes care of all that. So that's all the back end, it's all automated. That was a trial of blood, sweat, and tears. But once it got done, it was great. But then, as far as like the social and the newsletter, that was just all really painful. And it ended up like, okay, well, on this company, I'm going to do the newsletter and Instagram. And on the other company, I'm going to do Facebook and Twitter. And it was just really like, you pick and choose how you're going to work it, because you don't have time to do everything, especially when I'm only working 15 hours a week.
And I was going to say, what we didn't point out was the two websites actually sold the same products.
Yeah, there was an 80% overlap. I know. It was like I was my own competition. I didn't really fully understand the reasoning behind the gal that I bought it off of. I think it was, her point of view was, well, if there's going to be multiple businesses online, I should own multiple ones. I don't, yeah.
But it wasn't working for you. At the end of the day, it wasn't working. So can you tell us a little bit, you said you just touched on the fact that you were doing newsletters and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So was there a marketing plan? Like, what was the marketing strategy for the two businesses?
There really wasn't one. It was more of a, this new print came out, I'll advertise that. And then I got to hurry up and get that in. And I'm really just trying to, it was really a buy my stuff kind of marketing strategy, just sort of like, I've got this, buy it. I've got this new thing, buy it. Ooh, shiny, sort of trying to go for the iPhone thing without, the FOMO and all that. But that's really not what my ideal customer is into. I mean,
Ah, let's just quickly jump into that then.
Yeah.
What did you find out? Because we had Rebecca on a Facebook Live a couple of days ago talking about how she completely changed her business when she worked out her customers. So what did you do? We'll just quickly touch on that because we're here to talk about online marketing, but it's kind of a key thing, isn't it, to know who you're selling to?
Yeah. So when I first joined, I was like, but I have 3 ideal customers. And ultimately, there are, multiple types of, so I sell mostly modern cloth or reusable nappies. And there are, a few set generalizations you can make, like you've got the 1, 2, 3 types of mums. And I was like, but I'm selling to all of them. And I realized that no, I'm really not. Like some of them might come to me and that's fabulous, but my ideal customer is the one, she's on maternity leave or about to go on maternity leave, and it allows you to really focus on how you market to them and what they're really looking for, what kind of help they need, what kind of pain points they're having, things that you can offer that actually give them solutions and information that they might not have found anywhere else.
So when you found that out, how did you take that information and put it into a marketing strategy?
Okay, so what I ended up doing is I looked at my marketing sort of all stemmed from looking at historical sales and saying each month this sells really well. And then I thought, okay, thinking about my ideal customer, what pain points might she have around, we just came out of winter. So in winter, what are the pain points around why are they buying flats and why are they buying disposable inserts and things like that? And it's because drying times are long and washing is a pain in the, I mean, not so much in beautiful Queensland, but in the rest of the country,
for the rest of us,
drying times can be a pain in the bum in July. It's tough. So yeah, it really just helped me focus on how to not just sell these things to her, but also give her the things that she needs to make her journey of using our products that much easier.
That is so important. And it's actually quite smart. Like these sell really well, so I'm going to spend some money to market them. Like that's just a great, I mean, it sounds so simple, but it's something that we easily overlook. And knowing what's going to sell, like I think we get so caught up in exactly what you were saying is I've got some new stuff, buy my stuff, it's new, it's new, it's new. Yeah, but in actual fact, those tried and true things that sell year in, year out, that are guaranteed to be bringing in the money, those are the ones you should be spending a little bit extra money on because you know that customers already like them. You know that they're already proven in the marketplace.
Well, and the thing is, like the people that are, after those new and shiny things, they already know about them. And if they know about your company, they're going to know that you're going to have them. And so they're going to come buy that from you anyway. So why spend your time and effort and money marketing something that people are going to be coming to you to buy anyway?
And I guess if you,
yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, I guess if we're talking about the latest new and shiny, is that you aren't the only person with the latest new and shiny. So if everybody is getting the same stock at the same time, all the marketing is filled with brand new stuff from this supplier. So you're actually, the competition gets so much bigger. And if we're talking things like Facebook ads and Google ads, the cost for those skyrockets exponentially.
Yep. As I found out the hard way.
Tell us a little bit about that because I want to share the things that have worked, but also some of the things that haven't.
Yeah, so when I inherited it, there were these Google ads that were set up and it was around the new and shiny, so I had updated them with like the new prints and the new products. And I didn't really like in Google, you can set it up so it actually tracks conversion values and things. I mean, that's all a bit technical, but to really understand the value that you're getting out of this money that you're paying. And that wasn't even set up properly. And I only found that out about 4 months ago. So this is, 18 months into the journey. So, yeah, it was quite the process.
So how were you working? What was making you the decision? So we're taking Google ads here. What was making you decide to spend more money if you didn't actually know if you're getting any return?
I think it's just, it was there all along. So it's like, well, it must be working. It's like, why would I question that? But yeah, when I actually went in and looked at the numbers, it turns out that they weren't working, and I was just spending this money every month and not really getting anything out of it. You know, it was just sort of, yeah, it's the way we've always done it, so we'll just keep doing it that way. And it's like, well, I think we need to question some of that stuff.
Yeah, and that is so hard. In fact, in the video training series that we've got running at the moment, the video too is about marketing, and that is exactly what I talk about. I worked out one year I spent $20,000 on advertising, and at no point was I tracking the return on investment. And that is such a big, I know, you laugh, but you just did the same thing.
I know. Yeah, yeah.
But you know what? It's like, I had a degree in business. So this just goes to show you don't have to, just because you think you know what you're talking about, some of these basic things that we overlook have significant implications for our business. And like, mine was a $20,000 mistake. Like, you know, I'm sure yours was many, many dollars worth of mistakes because you did it for 18 months. And now that you look back, you're probably kicking yourself going, crap, I could have spent those thousands of dollars on something that I know works, or more stock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, like,
we all do it. We all do it.
And I regret it. You know, I've learned. I'm learning.
You've learned. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about your Google ads was, you talked about like tracking the conversion value. So can you tell us a little bit more about that for people who are like, oh, I've heard about this conversion value thing. What does it actually mean?
So by default, Google just gives a conversion value of 1. So it's basically just counting the number of conversions you've had. It doesn't actually track the amount. So to get crude about it, but like the amount of money that each person spends per conversion. So when you were when I was looking at it, it's like, oh, great. You know, I had 5 conversions this week. Well, 5 conversions at $20 is very different to 5 conversions at $200. Right. So you can actually set it up so that it has like a variable. And so it's just you put a thing on your website and you put a thing in your Google Analytics, and they talk to one another. And basically your website tells Google how much each conversion is worth, so that you know that even if, say your conversion number goes down, like if you had 5 conversions last week, but 4 conversions this week, your overall conversion value might have gone up dramatically, so you might have gotten a sale, but you're making $200 per order instead of $20 per order.
Fabulous. And that's something that we talked about in that video. One of the series was working out what it costs to get a customer versus what they spend and how long they hang around for. So you might now know that it cost me $20 to get a $200 sale, but if I spent, and I'm just making these numbers up, but if I spend $30, I might be able to get a $500 sale. So knowing that number is kind of key to working out your marketing budget.
Yes, exactly. And being able to log in every day and say, this ad is not doing that great. Maybe the search mechanism changed. I can turn that off because I know that the cost per click on that has, tripled. And so that's not okay. And then, just do a variation on that and change it, and just being a lot more aware of what's going on and understanding the value of those ads to me, knowing the cost per click and knowing whether or not that's going to translate to much for me it makes a big difference.
Yeah. And that's money in your pocket. I shared yesterday, I was taking the dog for a walk and I shared my big marketing mistake. And, we are just human, but one of the key things that exactly what you just said was knowing what that person is worth. So I managed to run some ads this week with a broken link. Type my name wrong. Go figure. Hundreds of dollars later. This is the thing though, when I knew that a couple of $100s in, I should have had a certain number of people download my ebook, because I know from experience that it costs me this amount of money to get this amount of downloads. So when $200 in, I had none, I knew straight away that there was a problem. And just as I was about to flick it off, someone commented on the ad that said, I clicked the link, but it doesn't go anywhere. So they luckily diagnosed the problem for me. But I looked at the ad over and over again, and it was just 2 letters around the wrong way. And of course, I read my name. You think you see what you see.
Of course I typed my name right. Yeah.
Of course I typed my name right. Like, how could you not type your name right?
Yeah.
But, you know, this was an expensive mistake, but it could have been so much more expensive had I have not known that at $200, I should have 5 people, or I should have 10 people, or I should have however many people. So you said you go in and check daily. Do you notice that there's a fluctuation, like to certain days? What was that?
There's an app for that. It's like, I live on my phone. I mean, I'm not on my phone constantly, but it's been so great. I got the one with the bigger screen, you know. Yeah, and it's just, I don't spend a bunch of time. But yeah, it's great. You can just log into the app. It says what, you know, your campaigns, what the conversions are doing. You can turn things on and off, you know, and then at night after the kids are in bed, I can go back and check on all that stuff and make sure that, you know, the changes I said really went through. And also, you know, maybe tweak those ads a little bit and improve them. But yeah, it's like, you know, 5 minutes while you're waiting for your kid to go to the toilet, you know, you can just check on that. And it's, yeah, it's great because it just means you can check in on it and you know how things are going, but you're not a slave to the laptop, basically.
Yeah. Facebook ads have got the same thing, and I use that as well. Like when I have campaigns running, you just want to flick through, and if you can see, like, you know, for me, for example, say it's $5 for an ebook download. If I'm at $20, I'm like, just switch that off and go back and look at it later. Like that's 4x too much, 4 times more than I want to pay. So just come back to that, and then you can see if there's something wrong with it later. But in the meantime, you're not wasting your money going through.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some tips that you have besides, you know, the obvious ones of checking in regularly, making sure you know your conversion, and the app is an awesome idea. But what are your big tips? If somebody here, because you've got an e-commerce business, so if somebody here has an e-commerce business and they're thinking, I don't spend any money on marketing, what would you say to them?
I guess really the big thing is know your customer and look at, you know, like actually get out a yearly calendar. And even if you just do it by the month. So like this month, I'm focusing on this. And it just gives you a direction for when you're looking at, you know, oh, I got this new shiny thing. Is that advertising that shiny thing going to bring you closer to your goal? And if it is, then fabulous, you know, spend the money on it. And if it's not, then maybe, you know, consider doing something else. And it just, I don't know, I think it just really helps me focus. And yeah, just start small. You know, it's like there's not a huge risk if you spend $5 a day on an ad and just see what happens. Especially if you think this is really something that my customers come to me a lot about. You know, you get those emails where it's like, how does this work? Advertising to fix those pain points is so much more effective than advertising the, you know, latest and greatest shiny thing, because it's like they can get that anywhere, you know, but you're trying to actually bring them a value of some description that is more than they can get anywhere else.
And that shiny thing, like you said, that when there's more competition out there, all of a sudden price is the thing that people choose on, rather than, you know, where can I get it cheapest? So that's not what you want to be.
No one wins in the race to the bottom. So let's just not go there, you know. Try to trade on something that makes you unique. You know, for us, it's, I mean, there's a few things, like we do donate the 10% to charity. I put together some special packs, you know, things that customers ask for. I'm happy to put together packs just for them, because generally if one person wants it, somebody else is going to want it too. Yeah. You know, just things like that, just addressing, it seems simple, but it's one of those things, like if people are asking for it, just give it to them, you know, like not silly things, but yeah.
No. But that's really important. And that's one of the things Rebecca talked about in the Facebook Live too, was she thought she was being nice by letting people choose what they wanted to buy. Yeah. But as a result, they wouldn't buy very much at all. But when she packaged it all up, they were like, oh, great, I just need that. And it was twice the price. But they were like, you know, that's fine. That's everything I need in a box.
Yeah, it's like, because there are too many choices out there, you know. It's like, I call it paralysis by analysis, and that happens to me with my to-do list, but it also happens at the grocery store. Like if you're standing in front of 45 different types of granola bars, or sorry, muesli bars, like how do you know which one to get, you know? It's like, oh my God, there's the sugar content and the fiber that you have to think about, and you know, how much protein are in them, and like, what about the ingredients list? Like, what's that? Like, just if somebody says to me, like if a good friend says, I've tried this muesli bar, it's amazing, it's got everything your kids need in it, and you'll like the flavor of it too, I'm going to buy that.
Just
Even if
make
it's
life
$2.
easy.
Yeah, and it's the same thing for anything. If somebody you know and trust is giving you that advice, you're going to take it. They know what they're talking about.
Yeah. And you respect their opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you ever get to the point where you just go, no marketing spend this month?
No. No, I've like this month has been really quiet, and I will admit I got a bit stuck, and I was like, I just don't know what to do anymore. Luckily I had my one-on-one with you, and so we were able to sort of talk through it and be like, okay, deep breaths. What can I work on? What am I wanting to get out the door, and how is that going to help my customers? And so, I was able to get back into it. But, ultimately, it's like you have to spend that money to make money. Nobody's going to know what you're offering unless you advertise it. It's got to get out there. So,
I think gone are the days where you could just post something on Instagram or Facebook and hope people would buy it. It doesn't work now.
Right. Well, and ultimately, they're businesses too. And so they're trying to make you pay to be able to get seen by as many of your customers as possible. And that's just the game. That's what it is now, and so you just play it.
But I think we're very lucky now. Like you can literally go from not even having a product and already being able to sell it. Like, there's none of these weeks for a print ad to come out or a magazine. Like in the era of Google ads and Instagram ads and YouTube ads and Pinterest ads and all the ads, you literally can, in a day, you can have sales of something.
Yeah. No, exactly. And you can do pre-sales. It's like I've ordered that thing. It's on its way to me. I'm good to start advertising it because I know it's going to be here in 4 days. It's great because you can, you can schedule it. I think that's a big part of, that marketing calendar is you can say, okay, well, I know that these new prints are coming then, and I know this awesome new product is coming. I'm going to put that in a new bundle and, advertise it this way because I think it's, customers are really looking for this widget, whatever it is, and it just lets you plan that much better. And you can pivot, if something's not working, you can just change it. You don't have
this is the thing, isn't it?
You could just
No, you can. You didn't pay your $2,000 to be in a magazine and hope that somebody comes. You can spend $10 or $15, and if it's not working, try something else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we have, like you've got one ad, and then you've got one with, learn more or shop more, and then whichever one of those works, then you take that and you tweak the picture, and then whichever one of those works, you take that and you tweak the content, the actual words in it, change the headline. It's like you can have 10 or 15 different versions of a single ad until you find what works.
Yeah, I think people, I was going to say, what would you say to the people who are just scared to spend the money?
Well, I mean, ultimately, you're going to get your money back, right? And it's just a matter of just take that first step, focusing on, like, really don't do the, like, buy my stuff, because it just doesn't, that doesn't, but focusing on the why should they buy that, just focusing on that why, not so much the what, because they're going to read your ad and click to find out the what. You're just telling them why are they buying.
So can you give us an example? You said that you sell nappies. So can you give us an example of something that you might write in an ad?
Yeah, sure. So like I did a new newborn pack recently where you get 2 of 5 different brands to try, and it's just this sort of like there's so many choices. So the headline was head spinning from too many choices. We've taken the guesswork out. We've put together a pack of, that's enough for half a day, and half a day to 1 day, depending on your newborn. And you can go from there. Like, it's easy. We've put together the easiest newborn nappies that we love, 5 different brands, half a day to a day's worth, taking the guesswork out of it, just,
Right. And that's pretty key, isn't it? So you talked all about the benefits. You didn't say, hey, buy this pack with 5 different nappies in it that are super absorbent and look great and will make your life easier. No, not make your life easier, but, you know, they have 4 press studs and this one has Velcro, like all the features. You actually bugger that. I'll just tell you why you want this pack. Why do you want it? Well, I want it because I don't want to have to make the choice myself. I'm such that person. Just tell me what I need to buy.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? One thing isn't going to work for everybody. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, all babies are not shaped the same way. Moms are different. Dads are different. Partners are different. Like, it just, you don't know who's going to be caring for different people's babies. Like, so the willingness to put extra skill sets into this, you know, and like learning, like the learning curve is very different depending on who you're talking to. So just saying, okay, you know what? These are 5 nappies that we love, that the moms we've talked to have loved. And once you decide what works best for you, then we can talk about where to go from there. But yeah, I think it's like, it's giving them, it's making the decision for them, but it's also giving them a more defined choice, if you know what I mean. Like, there are hundreds of different newborn nappies out there. I'm going to give you 5 that I promise are really good. And from that 5, you can then make your decision, you know, beyond, into the future kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's advertising for a specific product. Do you ever do any advertising just to grow your newsletter list?
Yeah, so I've done that a couple times. I put together a download about tackling Mount Washmore come winter. So it's sort of a winter woes be gone. And it was just around, you know, the top 5 tips for making washing nappies, and really any sort of washing, a little bit easier in wintertime. So, you know, one of them is like, go with flats because they are thinner, so they dry more quickly. Peg against the line versus over the line. You know, just things like that where it gives you, to get the download, people had to put in their name and address, and that puts them on my mailing list. But then they also get the download so they can get those 5 tips. So they get something out of it, and of course I get something out of it. And then I try to send out similar types of information every now and again. I won't say it, you know, weekly or monthly, but now and again.
And those generally, from my experience, are a lot cheaper than a product sale conversion, because you don't get the money up front. You're playing the long game here. You're saying, you know, come onto my email list. I'm going to send you some really nice information that's going to make your life easier. Somewhere down the line, I'm going to try and sell you a product. Maybe you'll still be here, maybe you won't, but I'm prepared to spend $1 or $2 or $3 just to get you on there, because once you're on my list, it's not like a Facebook like where people won't see it. Yeah. It's still going to be delivered to their inbox. Whether they choose to open it or not is a different story.
Yeah. But there are tools for tracking that. So, you know.
You're a tools expert. So, I mean, these are just 2 strategies that you use.
You know, sorry, when you come from, you know, software, I can't help but, you know,
find a tool. Okay, so I will just, we'll stay on the line here. Thank you so much for all of that information. There's so many great tips in there, but we'll stay here. And if anyone's got any questions, they can pop them below and you might just stick around for a couple of minutes and answer them.
Yeah, no problem.
And where can we find Brave Tiger?
So we are at bravetigertrust.com.au or Brave Tiger Australia on Facebook, or at brave_tiger_Oz, AUS, on Instagram. And I think it's the same on Twitter as well, actually. So we're a little bit everywhere. Just type in Brave Tiger Australia into Google and we're there. So
cool. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for all of that. We'll let you get back to the park. And if anyone's got any questions, they can pop them below and maybe you can check back and write some answers for them.
Yeah, no problem. I'll use my app.
Thanks so much. Tell Jill we said hi.
No, bye.